A phone powers on. On the screen is a video. The caption reads, "I guess this is what happens when a god catches you." The video plays. Someone is talking. It's the owner of the phone. He's making a video. He spots a girl. She moves and he follows her, crawling under a hole in the fence. He follows her for a while and then she stops. She's seen a god. The boy hides. He sees the god and it's huge, but the people commenting can't see it. One person says God prohibited idolatry and so they can't be captured on camera. The girl gets caught by the god and starts floating. She reaches a point and with a splash, she turns into water. The live stream ends, and behind the phone, we see Waka, watching in terror. Turns out, it's a dream. She wakes up, but she's restrained. She calls out, and it seems Tokinaga is in the same room. He goes to her. He apologizes for restraining her. Tears roll down her face because of the dream she just had. Tokinaga loosens some of her restraints. He tells her he had to restrain her because that was the only way he could save her. He injected her with anesthesia, then brought her back to the research facility. She doesn't quite remember everything that happened. Tokinaga reported what he saw to the institute, and they decided it would be best to restrain her. They walk down the hallway of the institute. Waka wonders where everyone else is. Tokinaga says he had the staff members leave. "Because my eyes are dangerous?" Waka asks. Tokinaga says yes, and that's why he reserved the full cafeteria for her. She lights up at the sight of all the food in front of her. She's never been in a government institute before, so she didn't know they were this extravagant. She asks about the location of the institute. Tokinaga tells her it's in Tokyo Underground. He tells her more about the facility and why it was built. Waka just shoves food into her mouth as he talks. He apologizes for how he treated her. He says he trusts her because she lied to protect him. He asks if she saw the guy with the high-pitched voice. She says no. "You didn't see him, but you pretended like you did. And that's why I listened to your instruction," Tokinaga says. Waka hears a voice. It sounds familiar. It's the same voice she heard with Tokinaga. The voice talks about the helmet Waka destroyed. Waka searches for the voice, but can't find where it's coming from. The voice starts talking to Tokinaga while Waka is still looking around for it. Then Tokinaga stands up and yanks something out from under the table. To Waka's surprise, it's a talking cat. And not only can it talk, it has feathers too. It's not normal for cats to talk, right? But it says it's not a cat. Apparently, it's an artificial organism. Its name is Nyababa. Waka is still in doubt. She wonders if Tokinaga is the one talking. But he tells her Nyababa was created by the institute. He thinks they'll get along just fine. Waka doesn't look convinced. Tokinaga, playing with the cat, tells Waka about other people in the institute who can help, so she shouldn't act rashly anymore. He drops Nyababa. There's a loud sound. The gate just closed. As Waka wonders why the gate closed, Tokinaga goes behind her and grabs her arm. "Are you really Kamikura Waka?" She's shocked by the sudden change in Tokinaga's tone. He says he trusts her, but he isn't sure she's truly human. She frees her hands, confused, and Tokinaga begins to explain. He tells her about the giant doors installed in case of a fire outbreak. Thanks to those doors, they can safely contain a god. Waka screams, "I am not a god!" Then he asks, "Do you have any memories of the fight?" He wonders if the personality she showed during the battle was really hers, or if she became someone else entirely. She says she remembers, but it's hazy. It felt like she was riding a train at incredible speed, staring blankly out the window. She was aware of her actions, but had no control over them. It was like she was a different person watching everything unfold from the inside. It all started when she lost her friend. She blamed the gods. Her mind went blank. That's when she boarded the train and stopped caring what happened to her enemies. Tokinaga speaks again. So, if someone were controlling you, you'd kill me too. Waka screams, "No!" To drive more fear into her, he says, "Even if you did kill me, the people watching through the cameras wouldn't lift a finger. Even if you froze me with your eyes or strangled me, no one would intervene. Because that's how valuable you are to the Institute. They wouldn't risk letting you escape." She repeats firmly, "I would never do that to you." But Tokinaga continues, his tone sharp, almost taunting, as if he's trying to provoke her, trying to get her to activate the God's eye. She yells at him to stop saying creepy things. He finally apologizes, says it's not her fault, it's the fault of the gods that reside within her. She hates the situation too. She doesn't even know why her eyes turned out this way. But the one thing she knows for sure, she wants to kill the one who murdered Shion. And she's not dying in a place like this. Tokinaga steps back. He rests on a table and exhales deeply. It was all an act, he confesses. He needed to prove to everyone she wasn't a threat. He gestures for her to take a seat. They sit, both mentally drained. Then he asks her, "Do you regret what you did to Uzuki?" She nods. "Yes, I do." Tokinaga tells her, "You can try to take control before it happens again, before you hurt someone else." She wonders aloud, is that even possible? He reassures her, there are people here who can and will help you. You want to kill the gods because they took your friend, but even in a world without gods, people would still be tempted by death. Then he asks her, what if your friend chose death even in that world? What would you do then? He says all this in the calmest, most collected voice, not to provoke her this time, but to change her perspective. He understands her rage towards the gods because he shares it. He wants them eradicated too, and so he asks for her help. Waka weeps, but she agrees. Next panel. We see a dark room. A door is slightly open. There's a computer desk. It's clearly an office. But something's off. Blood is dripping on the ground. Someone is hanging, suspended by branch-like tentacles. Their body is impaled. And there, on their stomach, a giant staring eye. A voice speaks, but we don't know who it is. The next panel shows a broadcast station. Inside, several people are engaged in a heated discussion about the gods. Some believe the gods are mere hallucinations, figments of the mind. Others believe they don't exist at all. They argue, challenging each other's perspectives. But there's one thing they all agree on. The massive life forms will now be called idolatry prohibited organisms, or IPO for short. Back at the Institute, it's the day of Waka's physical exam. She's blindfolded, wearing a box made of titanium over her head. Unable to see, she relies on the cat to guide her through the Institute. The cat leads her through corridors until they arrive at a room. Inside, Tokinaga is waiting, along with a group of researchers. They all introduce themselves to Waka. Waka tries to speak, but her voice comes out muffled because of the box. So the cat interprets for her. They want to verify the power of her eyes and ask to take a look. One of the researchers volunteers. The others step back, giving him space. He leans in for a closer look. Waka opens her eyes. At first, nothing happens. Then suddenly, his eyes cross and blood begins to drip from his nose. He's fallen under the influence of her gaze. He mumbles something about freeing her from her restraints, but Tokinaga quickly steps in and restrains him. They remove him from the room. The others are intrigued. They ask Tokinaga if he's ever witnessed her eyes like that before. He says no. They switch the titanium box for her sunglasses, and Waka finally gets to see everyone in the room.
An old man wrapped in bandages introduces himself as Chief Kayama. The others follow, stating their names and positions. Tokinaga gestures toward a young man leaning against the wall and introduces him as the department chief. Waka is surprised. He's pretty young for a department head. Chief Kayama then wonders how Waka survived a pole going straight through her head. He grins at the thought of examining her body. Waka silently wonders if he's a villain. The chief answers with a laugh, saying he's worse. He's from biotechnology. The cat chimes in, offering a quick breakdown of the different departments within the institute and their roles. Chief Kayama lights a pipe and says with a smirk, "We belong to the department that has no ethics and violates human rights." Then the old man cuts in, looking directly at Waka. "The only thing we want from you is for you to kill a god with your own hands." Tokinaga immediately objects. "That's not what we agreed on. Our deal was to study her special traits and use that knowledge to develop weapons. We're not turning her into a tool." But the chief doesn't care. "You were wrong to bring her here," he says flatly. A female researcher sides with Tokinaga, but since they're the lowest-ranking members in the room, there's not much they can do. Meanwhile, Chief Kayama is practically drooling at the thought of Waka being their best weapon yet. He tries to take her away for physical testing, but Tokinaga shouts, grabs Waka, and tries to leave the room. Just then, the chief places a hand on Tokinaga's shoulder. Tokinaga turns and stops dead in his tracks. Blood begins to drip from the chief's eyes and mouth. A grotesque, parasite-like creature starts crawling out of his mouth. He says coldly, "I'll be the one who decides what happens with her." Waka freezes in horror. Whatever she's just seen, it's clear. Chief Kayama is not entirely human. He is also an artificial human.